All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out for everybody so everyone can join in here. One second. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. So today we're going to finish our series this week on day trading volatility. So today's topic is going to be when will it end? So I think it's a good top, very appropriate. When is this madness going to end? So we'll take a look at that today. So before we do that though, everything we're going to talk about today is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, well, let's check and see where we left off the market. Then we'll take a peek at the futures, and then we'll get into the topic. And then we'll do chart requests and questions. So, all right, so let's see where we are. So basically, monthly chart, right? We're pretty new into March here. So right now, we still have an inside month right here, kind of an upper shadow going. Last month, pretty red month, right, off of a shooting star month, off of the upper Bollinger Bands. So the monthly chart walked up the bands for a little bit, upper shadow, grabbed an all-time high. February, big red candle, but a bounce off the monthly 20 moving average of the mid Bollinger Band right there. Let's take a look at our weekly chart right here. So very, very important stuff. Okay, so we talked about changes in composure recently, and so we have the 30 moving average, right? So this was a great tool that Stan Weinstein mentioned in his book. Profiting in bull and bear markets, right? So very, very significant point right here. If we look back here, back in 2018 in October, we had a very similar candle here to here. Now, obviously not as big. This is definitely magnified, right? And so, and then we had an inside week, which we're kind of getting right here with an upper shadow that closed below the 30 weekly moving average, and it appears we're doing that this week too. So definitely change of composure type stuff, and definitely something that we're going to look at going into the weeks ahead to see how this holds. So let's take a look at our daily chart and see what we did here and what brought us to this situation, right? We broke down our trend lines right here. We confirmed below it, gap down, right? Went below this trend line right here, confirmed below it again, upper shadow right here, and then boom, we closed and finished below the macro trend line all the way from those December lows, right? And the Christmas reversal. So we have that here, gap down, and then we got a nice lower shadow here off of these lows right here, which was back in. Let's go back here a little bit. Let's go a couple years back so we can see that. All right, so you can see here we bounced off of the October 2019 lows, right? So that was kind of the bouncing point right here. We got back up over the 200 moving average, and what happened? We got up to the macro trend line again as a retest, right? This happens a lot of times before we get bigger moves down. Now, what we wanted it to do, or what we was hoping it would do, is it would get above it, like maybe retest this way, and then work its way back up to all-time highs, fill the gap, and all that stuff. And right now, it looks like we've retested, right? Come down. Back below the 200 moving average on the daily, right? Possible retest coming in the future, and then another push to the lows here, but we'll see. So right now, we'll take a look at the futures in a moment. So, but generally weak, right? So let's take a look at the price action today. So price action today, interesting, right? So we got a gap down this morning, push back down to the 15 orb low inside 15, which did not get followed through the 15 orb high initially. Right, we pulled back a little bit, then we finally got it, and then we got this nice little doji right here at the top of the 15 orb high, trying to like maybe we can fill this gap, maybe we could fade it up here, and then no, it didn't do it. Right, bearish candle right here, which brought us to the 15 orb low, another bearish candle which brought us a little bit lower. Right, chopping to the close, and then a little bit of a rally, but kind of muted, right, with an upper shadow at the end of the day. Right, we look at our levels here that we provide to our members before each market open, and so we go here to the 5th of March, right there. Okay, and you can see the levels. Obviously, we're tested pretty well here. We filled a closing gap below. We also hit an S2 level, bounced off of that right at the end of the day. So very, very key stuff. Here's one of our volumetric levels. Look at that upper shadow right off of that guy today, and then worked our way down. So very, very important stuff, and we love using this stuff intraday to help give us guidance right into the price action here. You can actually kind of see a bit of a head and shoulders pattern here too. Right, here's your first shoulder. There's your next shoulder, or there's your head. A little bit of a shoulder right here. Right, and then you get your breakdown, right, which kind of brought us down a little bit lower too. So pretty cool stuff. Lots of chart patterns intraday that help us and guide us in our trading. So before we go and get in the topic right here, let's take a look at the S&P futures and see how they're looking here this evening. So we were green for a little bit. Now we're back down 20. So the volatility is still with us, right? We had a little. In fact, we had a couple nice patterns today. So we had this rising wedge, or basically upper channel right here, bear flag type movement right here, which also brought us down. And then we had a falling wedge right here into the evening. right? As we get the futures were looking bullish, right? Everything's looking good. I think they were up like 20 points and then break down out of that rising wedge pattern right there. And here we are with inside 15. So where are these going tonight? Well, really, price seems to like this prior all-time high level that we have here. But this was the key consideration here. This was where the Fed decided to do an emergency rate cut, right, on their worries over the coronavirus, right? So that was they tried to boost the market up, tried to give it a big pump, and they guess what? All it did was show that maybe there's more to be concerned about the coronavirus than we originally thought, because the Fed's stepping in and doing something about it, right? And that brought the market down pretty heavy. Came back up a little bit, right? A little bit of a relief rally right there, right? And then testing these levels. Look how long they tested these levels in here where that breakout came, right? Then we came back up again, tweezer top, couldn't quite get above the Fed high right there, and then worked our way back down. Chopped it again around at these levels here a lot for a bit, like lots of activity, right? And then we finally flushed below it today, and now we are working our way back down to try to test the lows of that day. And then below that, right, things get a little bit more worrisome, right? So we get down here, then we have, this guy down here, 2904 is a possible level, right? 2944 another possible level, and then even below there, right, we have those recent lows, right? Those are those October low areas right there. So very, very key stuff going on right now in the futures and in the market. So the real question is, when will it end? When is all this going to end? So there is definitely, we'll talk about that in a minute right here, specific dates, right? But let's take a look at some technical ideas of when this is going to kind of finish up here, right? Because it's frustrating, right? This makes it really difficult. This volatility makes it certainly difficult to swing. Right, so we're seeing a lot of really wild price action. Right? We're using a lot of levels that help us engage our. But look at this! I mean, huge candles right here, right on the S&P, 204 points right here, 164 points here, 153 point ranges. These are daily ranges, 117 points, right? And today so far we're 55 point range, and we haven't even, the beginning of the futures here is still hasn't even finished yet. So who knows? Maybe we'll have another 100 point swing one way or another intraday tomorrow on Friday. And and don't forget tomorrow is Friday, by the way. So consider swinging next week's options, or consider trading next week's options so you don't get caught up in the theta unless you're confident in a nice momentum move. Okay, so that being said, right, when is all this kind of finishing up here, right? So let's go back to the SPX, a little less noise on that one, right? So when is this all going to finish up, right? So the volatility picked up. We started this week. We defined volatility. We talked about, it is, historical volatility is a standard deviation of ranges of price, right? We talked about implied volatility, which has to do a lot with the options, right? That it talks about the expected range of options. We're seeing a lot of crazy option moves, big spreads on stuff that normally doesn't have big spreads, and it makes it very difficult, right? Especially if you're wrong in direction, right? And if you start to go up, right, the IV sometimes gets trapped to the downside, right? And then even if you're going up, you're still fighting that IV coming down in the price of your options, which we talked about in the definition of volatility this week. So when can we start to be like, all right, when are these things going to get normal again, right? So I mean, even this was pretty crazy up here. Like we had some big candles and all that stuff, but nothing as big as we've had these last couple of weeks. So what do we want to look at to try to figure that out? Well, simple, right? Well, not really simple, but but one good method right here is to look at the VIX. The VIX itself. So what has the VIX been doing? Oh, this is great, guys. So we have the definition right here. Option value equals intrinsic value plus extrinsic value, right? And so that gives us our idea. So that extrinsic value is your time decay, right, or your time value, right, plus your implied volatility, right? And so that implied volatility, if that IV is high, right, even if you're going up and that IV is high, right, and if it drops really low, your extrinsic value. So even if the time decay is going down, right, and your IV is going down, your premiums, right, are also going down. So if you're still trying to go long and get some increased premium, get your price to go up there, you're really relying on extrinsic value. So at that point, you really want to be out of the money, or I'm sorry, in the money and farther away in time to try to get, to try to capitalize on some of the bigger moves, right? Or you got to be really, really right in a really short amount of time. So that being said, what do we want with this volatility? We want this thing to get lower. When is this thing going to end? Well, it's likely going to end when this VIX gets back to basically normal ranges, right? So it's a very, very important tool to use, right? Even the ranges of the volatility are big, right? 9 points, right? This is very, very big. A normal volatility range, right, is like less than $1, 30 cents, 50 cents, right? It's big. It's here $2, but we have volatility that ranges like $10, $11. That's huge. We want the volatility, the VIX, to be smaller, right? So we want smaller candles, right? And what else do we want? We want that VIX to be lower, right? Right now it's really high up. It's the pulse of the market, right? It's the pulse pulse of the fear of the market, right? So if it's way up here, right, the fear is high, right, and the nervousness is high, the volatility is high. So we want this thing to get back down below normal ranges. If we go back to December, right, the Christmas reversal, right, like in this area here, right before this, right? So volatility was high. The range of the candles were pretty big too, 6 points, not as big as here, 10 points, right? And then when it finally calmed down, what did it do? And we've done our 3-minute videos on this too, right? It got below the cloud, right? We like it when it's below the cloud, and we like when the ranges of the candles are smaller, right? So where does that happen? So back in December, back in early January, right? We got below the cloud here at about January 10th, right? And we stayed below the cloud for a little bit here all the way until May. Right, so May, the next time we tagged the cloud was back in March. So if you go to the SPX, right, from January to May to March to May, right, well, here's your January move right here, right? We had a nice smooth move up, right, all the way to May. Imagine that. So the VIX supported that move, right, because the volatility was low. So we got it below the cloud. So we really want this VIX, right, to get back down, right? We want it to get back below the cloud. Right now the cloud is at 15, so that would be nice, but below 20 would be good to get started, right? That would at least fade this gap right here, but to get below and start to work its way down below these levels would be ideal to get these options back in play, where we don't have this huge IV cooked into it. So that's one thing to look at. The other thing that we look at too is actually the IV of the VIX. And this is also mentioned here in our video. So if we go to if we put this back in, the imp volatility we talked about earlier this week. So here's the imp volatility right now, right? So one of the key levels that we like for our imp volatility is we like it below 90, right? 0.90. So let's put a little line on 0.90 right here. Okay, so it's at 0.89 right there, pretty close. Let me just see if I can plug this in here, 0.90. So once we're below 0.90, things are relatively calm. But when we're above it, right, things get a little bit, funky, right? So even up here, it was a little bit big, and we're kind of chopping around a little bit. So 0.90 is kind of like your nice little line in the sand right there, where volatility is. I don't know why that's not adjusting, but anyway, so we're pretty close to 0.89. So the recent big push down where the VIX kind of came down right here, you can see we got real close to that 0.90. So it's nice to have these levels like here, right, between January and May. See how during that time here we stayed nice and low, right? The VIX itself didn't have a high implied volatility. That means the range of the candles wasn't as big, right? We stayed pretty smooth, and then it got a big spike right here again back, in May after that run was over before we moved back down. So we want this volatility, the implied volatility of the VIX itself to get below 0.90. Ideally below 1 at this point would be great, but below 0.90 is ideal, and we want this VIX to come back down. And what that'll do is that'll have the value of the VIX essentially suppressed. It'll have the IV of the VIX down, and it'll have the implied volatility of our options down as well. Until then, we're subject to potential big swings in price like we're seeing, which can be fun, right? If you catch the right side of those moves, it can be fun, of course. But it makes it difficult with the option premium. Things start to get more expensive, the spreads start to get higher, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to trade. And that's where we have to kind of talk about the other topics we talked about this week in terms of risk management, setting stops, right? And then also targeting profits. So good stuff right there. So that really is what we are looking for. We're looking for the VIX to get down low. We're looking for the implied volatility of the VIX to get low. And of course, we're also looking for the implied volatility of the SPX to get down as well, right? So this is up pretty high as well. It's a different scale, right? So ideally here, back below these levels, right, we want to be at least below this kind of point, 0.2-ish, right, or 0.15, is kind of a good level here for the VIX, right, to kind of stay, or the SPX itself to kind of stay below those levels. So that is what we are looking for, folks, and that is an important area for when it is all over. But right now, until we're there, the end is not in sight. So we will continue to day trade and focus on these the bigger intraday moves on some great setups, which we have. But in the meantime, it makes it very complicated for swinging because we're fighting a big volatility. Unless you're a premium seller, right? If you're picking direction, it gets a little bit more challenging. So good stuff. Well, hopefully you guys found that helpful. And at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can, and we'll try to wrap up as early as possible so that we can all get a good night's sleep and have some rest for another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. SMDC4S, present and accounted for. Glad you made it, man. So the next timing date is 3/17 for the low. The low is going to be in that day. Good. Well, we're looking forward to it. We hope that low is in by then, and then this volatility gets down for us, and we can start to trade this thing back up again. So we'll definitely be looking for that. Keep reminding us of it. Mark your calendar for that day, and that's a good day to it. Lucky 3/17 St. Patrick's Day. So hopefully that'll be a good one. Looking forward to it. That'll be great. Matthew, what's going on? Good evening. Hope you're doing great. Thanks for tuning in. MTN VR, what's going on? AMD had some sort of news that might get it back above the cloud if futures reverse tonight. Thoughts? Yeah, so AMD had an analyst event, which really wasn't clear and announced and a lot of stuff, but yeah, it did move up nicely after hours on that. So let's take a look at AMD and see how it's looking here. First of all, on the daily chart, let's go 1 year 1 day here so it doesn't get too crazy for us. Okay, good. So daily chart double inside day on AMD. That's big stuff, right? So compression leads to expansion, and it is perhaps the expansion is moving up right here. So yeah, very, very nice for AMD. That's definitely going to be on the radar tomorrow. I like that it's up to this 51 level after hours. That puts us up here to this resistance level. And yeah, if the futures get strong tomorrow, and we get a nice reversal, definitely AMD is one to look at for a contender for the gap fill above. That was kind of our on our radar this week. And yeah, double inside day. That's right, you nailed it. Exactly. Good stuff. ZEK, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look at NEM. So NEM has been a great one for some intraday moves, right? Newmont Corporation, right? Gold. Wow, what a great candle today. It didn't quite get increasing volume, but I really love the close here over the recent highs. Definitely looking bullish here. If we go to the price action even intraday, it is prone to some really nice moves. I had a nice momentum move at the open through the pre-market levels. Nasty pullback right here, right? And then gave you a nice one up right here, and then a bear flag. I'm sorry, a bull flag, and then a push to the upside, and then some crazy megaphone, choppy formation right here into the end of the day. So let's see how that plays out tomorrow. But I do like that, and in fact, we're going to add it to the bullish radar for tomorrow because of the nice close on the chart there. So let's take a look here. So yeah. Looking good. Awesome. Great stuff. Love it. And then SE. Yeah, SE's been pretty hot recently, so let's take a look here and see how that's doing. Yeah, nice candle today. Not a lot of volume, but looks like it's perking up a little bit here. Let me get the volatility off of this. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's looking pretty good right here. Again, I like how it hit an all-time high today. It would have been nice if it closed a little bit higher with some increased volume, but definitely some relative strength right here. So definitely want to keep on the radar. Very, very nice. Anil, what's going on? Good to see you. Apple. Let's take a look. So Apple had an inside day yesterday right off of the our prior trend box where we eventually broke down out of those levels. We tagged that yesterday off the inside day. We're trying to take the inside day low today below the 80 MA. So look at it as a potential bearish consideration. We do have a pitchfork level right here, so that's one to kind of keep an eye on too. NVIDIA. NVIDIA down 11 points today, but inside day so far. So let's see if how that holds. We do have a bit of a geometric level going on right here. Right, so kind of keep this in mind. It could be a possible rising wedge type formation. We do have resistance here at the gap. It's having trouble filling this gap right now. So a breakdown on this one with some confirmation could see some more downside for NVIDIA. But if AMD is up too, NVIDIA might get a little boost on that. So definitely something to keep. It's actually up after hours as well. So it's kind of floating up a little bit here after hours. So it's possible that some folks could get caught short in that one if we get a little bit of a boost on that. So that's a good one to keep an eye on tomorrow as well. Shop also an inside day, but a little bit different. It's holding its 8 EMA. So let's see if we can get a tail fill to the upside on that one and possibly test its other inside day high. Otherwise, Shop is facing the same type of trend geometric level right here. So if it breaks down that, we might see a move down on Shop. Good stuff. Cherry, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. TLT. Yeah, TLT rocking it, right? Inside day right here, it's kind of started things up, right? As it broke over this key resistance level. Been holding the 80 MA all the way up. Big move the other day. Inside day up today. A little bit less volume, but continue to watch and see if it comes back up and tests that fib fan line. Zoom with earnings that came out today too. So look at that big bearish engulfing candle right here, and today big bullish candle fully engulfing right here with big volume. So let's see if we get some upside today. I wouldn't be surprised if they upgrade this thing tomorrow, just because it's holding up well during the coronavirus and had a nice close today. So could be a nice go-to one, and it's definitely been a Corona play for us. SPCE, interesting. Gave a nice little move intraday today, but it's still kind of below this this downward trend line right here. So let's wait to see if it breaks out of that, gets confirmation, and starts to work its way back up again. And then Microsoft. Microsoft's been struggling a little bit inside day, right? We got a Southern Doji today, so let's see how it handles that prior inside day low right there. And you got these tweezer bottoms right here too, which is kind of right at the bottom of the channel. So if that holds, right, we might start to see Microsoft to get some strength off of that. And then Costco, yeah, that's a great one. So Costco with earnings tonight. Okay, had a strong candle yesterday, a little bit of a doji sandwich today, and then after hours, I thought it was going to be way up after hours. Okay, well, it's kind of chopping around here after hours. So let's see how that holds into tomorrow. I would expect it to get some action tomorrow after earnings, and sometimes it does give some nice plays on its after its earnings day. So keep an eye on that for a 15 orb tomorrow, and we'll be eyeing it for sure. Bagesh, what's going on? Good evening. Hope you're doing great. Let's take a look. You got Roku. Yeah, so Roku is really important here. So Roku has been holding, this prior support level right here, right? Lower shadow. It just keeps on bouncing off these levels. This is a very key level for Roku to continue to hold. If we get an inside day down tomorrow, Roku could work its way back down to this bottom pivot right here at around this 98 level. So kind of keep an eye on that for Roku. Very, very key area right now. OPK. I believe we have this is one of those Corona plays, right? So working on a vaccine. They had a big breakout candle today, big move. I don't know if they're, drifting up big after hours too. Nice cheap one too. So it's about the price of an option. So I'm liking it. So if it's, we're at 248 right now, that puts us, the high right here was 243. So potential gap and going that. We do have another resistance level right here at 253. So watch that one too. But yeah, big move today and big after hours type action. So that's good there. Take a look at Shop. Shop with an inside day, holding up pretty well too. Same, it's got that geometric level as well. Let's see if that holds. And Netflix. Netflix, super battleground over the massive weekly resistance, right? So, right, test, fail, upper shadow, and it looks like it's failing this week as well. And today, Netflix keeps on giving these big moves, but it keeps on rejecting it. Upper shadow. So keep an eye on Netflix, right? If it can't break out above these levels, very, very possible it comes back down and tests like this cloud area here. So yeah, great charts. Yeah, Jerry, my pleasure. Sumit, what's going on? Insights on JD. Yeah, so JD was an interesting one. It gave a nice move today. It was on the top of our radar this morning. It gave a nice momentum breakout type move today. And then it calmed down a little bit, right? So it kind of came back down, but it did close over the 15 orb. Inside 15 up here. We like that. Inside 15 up here as well. We like that as well. And then some choppiness in the close, but definitely got some interesting. I love the big volume that came in here. So let's see if that continues to hold up as well. Upper shadow on the daily, so just keep an eye out on that. ABT. Let's take a look. ABT, interesting, failed to take the inside day down, so let's see if it can work its way back up. So let's see if it can come at least to test the 82 level to get to the top of that prior inside day. And then DGX, Quest Diagnostics, yeah, so more diagnostic testing, right, more kind of Corona type stuff. I think LH, right, LabCorp was, had a pretty big move today as well. I know they got halted at one point, so, but yeah, DGX, nice move right there. Again, these diagnostic companies should be getting more tests coming in for the Corona. INO definitely on the radar. Yeah, Inovio Pharmaceuticals looking pretty interesting. Good volume, good breakout candle the other day. Nice follow through today to get over $10. We like that. Earnings coming up next week, right? So definitely want to keep an eye on as well. So see if we get an earnings run off of that. Great stuff. And here's in the clinical lab market. Yeah, so what we were talking about there, you got like LH. Did I say LH? What was LabCorp? Where's LabCorp? You guys gotta help me out here. I can't remember what LabCorp is. LH, yeah, I'm not sure why I didn't pull up. I was pretty sure I had it right. Oh, Laboratory Core, I guess so I just didn't recognize it. Yeah, Laboratory Core, sorry. Yeah, so Laboratory Core is another one. This one's a little bit tricky with its options. It doesn't have really good options on it. But, they were halted today, had a big spike up right here, like a gap up intraday, and then they flushed it. So, but it's definitely one to look at. It's obviously getting some action too. And of course you have Guild, right? Guild, working on some, vaccine type stuff, still holding up pretty well. PFE working with Guild on some stuff. That's another one to look at. Inside day so far holding the ADMA, and then Moderna, right? mRNA. Still it looks a little sideways action right here and hold the ADMA. So those are a couple ones that you could look at too for the for some Corona plays. Michael, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, Ocul, let's take a look. OCUL. Okay, so Ocular Therapeutics, yeah, big move. Yeah, this is a big breakout candle day, and you got that nice move out of that today from 755 to 812. Big upper shadow day, so just kind of keep that in mind. This also has got earnings coming up too. Robert, what's going on? Facebook, yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, Facebook, let's see. Down a little bit today. Facebook's been on our week radar too. Obviously, we're fighting this trend line right here. right? And let's see, right now it's kind of testing the trend line. So see if it breaks down below that and then breaks down below those lows here, which could give some interesting action on Facebook going forward. But I guess, yeah, my pleasure. Tracy, yeah, let's take a look. So you got Boeing. Yeah, so Boeing is looking really interesting. So Boeing, right? So we're really tracking this. I can get rid of that guy there. But we're really tracking Boeing here on this. Let me clean this up a little bit here, guys. Sorry, I think which one is the most recent one here that we've been using? Thought maybe this guy. No, I have one here that had a great channel on it. Give me 1 second. C14, maybe C15. Where'd it go? C9. No, C8. There we go. Here's the channel. Okay, so looking good right here. So Boeing has been definitely following this channel really, really well, right? We got this nice pivot off of it recently. Like this was, even if you didn't catch the big down move in the market, right? Just kind of tracking Boeing here off of this channel was a great follow through the downside. And what we're seeing right here is we're getting really, really close to the bottom of the channel right here with a big down day today. So today's candle was nasty, right? But if we hold this channel, right, we might, see a little bit of a, some choppy type action around here, right? And then kind of give us like a little bit of a pivot type move. Right, and then try to work its way back up to the top of the channel, and that might correspond with March 17th, and then we could ride that all the way back up to the top of the channel. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that one. Keys. Keysight Technologies. So let's take a look here and see how it's looking on the daily chart. Yeah, decent candle today, good volume, relative strength. Just watch the 50-day moving average, get a little up, top tick off of that one. But if we can close above that, or push above it tomorrow, get a little move up to the cloud. All right, so we can get above the cloud and then try to work its way up out of there. That would be great. And then AYX, yeah, definitely had some bullish price action intraday on AYX today. Great close off of the inside day over the ADMA, closed over some key levels. Very, very bullish on AYX. In fact, I like that enough that where it's going on the radar for tomorrow. Very, very good. And what else? Where'd you guys go? I lost the... there we go, lost it. Okay, good. Yeah, awesome stuff. Great charts. Samit, yeah, my pleasure. Michael, yeah, my pleasure. Osiris, what's going on? Still holding SMH. April expiration. Let's take a look. Let's see. So how's that looking for you? Good. Double inside day. Okay. So yeah. So double inside day right here. So just kind of see how it holds. If it breaks, if it breaks down below that double inside day, it might want to test this next pivot down low here, right? Then you got your 200-day moving average down there. But a break above it could be good, right? A little push above there, get into the cloud with a strong candle, try to work its way out. That would be the kind of the game plan on that one. So yeah. So within April, if it can do this, right, then you should be okay because you got your nice gap right there that could get filled. Hopefully, right, as long as it gets bullish for you. Reed, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look. So JP Morgan. JP Morgan looking interesting right here, right? So lots of bearishness. We've seen a lot of bearish activity in the financials, right? Nasty candle right here under the 200-day moving average to get some follow through the downside. Now it's holding that recent low right here, right, which corresponds kind of with this open gap right here, and you have this right here. So in other news, it sounds like Jamie Dimon had a emergency heart surgery. So we are seeing it down a little bit on that kind of news right now. So, he's been, a big figurehead for the company. So if they say everything's okay, so if everything is okay, maybe we'll see a little bit of recovery on it. But if not, it might get some downside movement, right? You got an open gap down here, which could be interesting, right? Another gap down here. And then, of course, these lows down here around that 104 level. So it's got some work to do, and it's got some news now. So that could be very interesting. So Bank of America. Bank of America has been, generally pretty weak with the rest of the financials. You have kind of a big prior support level right here around like 26. So see if that holds at a little lower shadow today, and kind of drifting a little bit after market here. So definitely want to keep an eye on, but definitely giving some interesting price action as well. So see if that level holds. And then yeah, SMG. I got you. I thought you were talking about something else. So yeah, this is your the Scott's Miracle Grow, right? So yeah, Scott's Miracle Grow. Oh, I wish it had the double inside day for you. It did pull back to the 80 and give you a lower shadow off that, filled the closing gap, so that's good. Now it's got work to do, right? We want to make sure it can kind of get back up, close above these levels here, close above this guy here, and then try to work its way up. If not, right, it looks like you got a potentially like closing gap down here, then the scene of the breakout right here. Because remember, price likes to test these levels, right? And it also cleared this prior gap pretty quickly, right? So it's very, very possible it might want to kind of hang out in here too. So just be careful with that, right? Don't be too stubborn with it. If you start to see, some volume coming in and it's breaking down, just be careful, right? So, but if it does start to work out and give you some bullishness and get over these levels, right, that could be a good thing. So good stuff. Yeah, all good, all good. Well, good. Wow, great, great chart request tonight. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in. So again, really really important topics here on the VIX, right? And when this thing is going to end is when that VIX finally comes back down and gives us an opportunity to get these premiums back in order. And even shorts, can be reasonable when the IV is down. So good stuff. Dylan, hey, what's going on? Yeah, so fun. Let's take a look here real quick before we wrap up. Okay, so fun. Yeah, Cedar Fair was fun to the downside today. Big volume today. Nasty candle. So that's very, very bearish here. So kind of keep an eye on this one as well. It is definitely at its lows right here. So nasty. They're definitely dumping that a little bit. So look at that. At this point, see if we can find some support. And otherwise, pretty bearish stuff right here. And PSA. Let's take a look. PSA, yeah, that's a pretty decent close today. Would have liked to have seen a little more volume. Would have liked to have seen it close above this 230 level, right? So you can get back up to the 200, and then obviously we want to get over the 200 moving average with some volume, try to work its way back up again. So that would be great too on public storage. That would be a sweet one. Yeah, but decent relative strength today for sure. Well, good stuff, guys. Awesome chart requests again. And Uber, yep, Uber definitely. So Uber is had a lot of positive comments today from Morgan Stanley. Again, it's holding these key levels right here. You can see this level here was a prior breakout level for us, right? We did a trade of the week back here not too long ago. It gave us a nice move up. This level here was a prior very interesting level seen to the breakdown type stuff. So we're holding out right now. We're at the bottom of the cloud. So let's see if this cloud can hold. If it breaks down, we may test a couple of these levels below. But if it does hold, we might be able to work our way back up again. So so that's kind of what's going on with Uber right now. So good stuff, guys. Really, really great stuff. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Love the chart requests as always and the questions. We're going to keep an eye on that VIX to see if that can come down and we can get out of this crazy volatility mode. But in the meantime, we embrace the volatility and go from there. So good stuff. Oh, sorry. So it did exactly what we said it would do last night, SMG. But yeah, you can still hold it if you're safe and comfortable with your risk. Yeah, then let it do its thing. I'm with you. So good stuff, guys, and good luck on that. Definitely rooting for you on it. So good. Yeah, so great stuff, guys. Again, volatility, very, very important. So appreciate everybody's support and talking about that. I hope everybody has a great night tonight. If you're new here on YouTube, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. And even if you're not new here, definitely click the like button on YouTube. We always like that. And yep, SMG, exactly. So SMG is the Scott's Miracle Grow. So we just want to see if this thing can kind of get some strength here and get above these levels. That would be the ideal. So otherwise, we got a couple levels that might get tested below. So anyway, yeah, so check out the links in the description, and I hope everybody has a wonderful night tonight. Don't forget, tomorrow is Friday, so consider trading next week's options, and don't get caught and get assigned over the weekend. Nobody likes that. And I hope everybody has really a wonderful one and a great rest of your night and an awesome finish of the week tomorrow. And we'll be back at it on Sunday night, so we'll look forward to seeing you here then, and we'll talk to you then. And great night, everybody, and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.